Okay, should we start from the start?
Where do you want me to start? When I was born
Yeah.
and then, okay,
Yeah.
I was born June 23rd, 1922. So guess how old I am?
46.
Quick, quick.
46.
Huh?
34.
96, gonna be 97 this next birthday. Can you believe that?
No.
No.
Going on 62.
And I'm still moving around. Yay.
What, tell us about your childhood from the first thing you can remember.
Well, I really, to be very honest, I don't remember. There were 8 of us. I had 4 brothers and 3 sisters. So there was always a lot going on, but yet to be very honest, I don't remember a lot of the early years. But there must have always been a lot going on with 8 of us around. And we had a big house and a big backyard. My mom and dad raised a few chickens. We had those. And we were just not in the country, but we were not right in the city. So there was a lot of open space. And my twin brothers were the youngest, and then I came next. And then my sister Rose, and then Joe, and then Julie and Steve. Anyhow, there were 8 of us, 4 boys. And we didn't have games and things like you do now, for one thing. But yet I don't really remember what all we did, but we must have just been playing, because we had a lot of open space, so you know that we were moving around. And then I went to Catholic school, and I went to Catholic high school. And then I never went to college, and I worked at a place called Roller Smith, and we made instruments for the airplanes, and you know, on for the instruments for flying. And then a girlfriend and I decided we were going to join the service, and she backed out, but I went through with it. And I lived in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and for whatever reason they sent me all the way across to California. And I didn't fly. I went on the train, and that didn't go overnight. That was more than one night.
How old were you?
How old was I? How old was I? Let's see, I went in 43, so how old was I?
21.
Yeah. So why they sent me from back east Pennsylvania to California, there had to be a reason for it. Anyhow, I was sent to Alameda Naval Air Station, and I was there the whole time. And I worked, my first job was in administration. And then I worked in another department in athletics, where at that time there were a lot of athletes, you know, in the service. So we had like intramural games and then I did that. And then I met a young man called William McIlveen, and he was there. He lived in Alameda, and he was stationed at the Alameda Naval Air Station. And I remember he used to say, the mothers of his friends would say, "Oh, Bill, I'm so glad that you're back." And he'd have to say, "I never left Alameda, and they never sent me anywhere." But I was so. Anyhow, I met Bill, and when I got out of the service, I lived in Alameda for a while, and his parents lived there. His parents lived there, and then we started going together, and then we got married.
How did he approach you when you met?
I didn't chase him, that's for sure. Not that I didn't mean it that way, but anyhow. Don't quote, don't put this on. I remember my mother saying, why couldn't she meet a Catholic boy? So anyhow, I didn't meet a Catholic boy. I met an Episcopal boy, and we were married in the Episcopal Church, All Saints Episcopal Church in Alameda, and the rest is history. So from there on, it was, and Bill worked for the Mobil Oil Company. Lynn was born in Stockton, and then Sharon was born in Monterey Park. And the reason it was in different locations was because he worked for the Mobil Oil Company, and he was a salesman, and he was transferred, so that's why the girls were born in different places. I remember we lived in Monterey Park, and this was so many years ago, but this, for some reason or another, this sticks in my mind. I remember Bill asking someone, well, I'm going to be working in LA, and where is a place close to, and that was many years ago, so traffic wasn't, and someone said, well, Monterey Park is pretty close, to that area. So that's how we happened to settle there. And things just went on from there. Monterey Park, Stockton, Monterey Park, and then we moved to La Mirada, and that was in La Mirada, and so, I mean, it's not very exciting, but there were things that went on, and we just, we had a good life, and did well, and we owned our own home, and Lynn came along, and then Sharon, and life went on.
Did you guys own a pizza parlor at one point?
Oh yes, we had. That came about, this was so many years ago, and in those days, I remember Norm was able to make pizzas in his home, and he was able to sell them. You couldn't do that now. And he wanted to open up a pizza place, and we got, how do I want to say it, through the veterans, we got a loan that he was not able, so we opened up the pizza house, and we became partners with him. And it was very, very successful. I remember on weekends that people were lined up to order their pizzas. And that was successful we had that in one place, and then we opened up another place on Beach Boulevard. And I don't really remember how many years we had that, but we had it for a while.
What was it called?
It was La Mirada Pizza House. And, very, very, very different, naturally. And we did very well with it. We had the one, and then we opened up the second one. And I don't remember how long we had it, but we did well with it. And we all had our fill of pizzas for many years. And it was just, it's amazing how things kind of fall into place. You're not even maybe looking for something, and it's just there.
You guys traveled a lot, didn't you?
No, not really. No. I mean, we did a little bit. We loved cruises. We took cruises.
So where did you go?
I know we went to Hawaii, we went to Alaska twice. No, we went once, and we were going to go again, but we never made it the second time. And just a lot of different places. I can't really remember all of the, wherever a cruise was going. The reason we really liked it, because you'd get aboard, you'd unpack, and you would see a lot of different places, but you weren't packing and unpacking. And so that was our good way of traveling to different places. And I can't even remember where all we went, but we went to quite a few different places. Other than that, we didn't go to Europe or to different lot of flying or things like that. And then the family came along and everything changed. And I don't know who you two are and how you came into the picture, but somehow or another you crept into my life. And so, and I'm grateful for you both. And I mean, it wasn't a very exciting life, but it wasn't a real boring life either. I mean, I didn't travel a lot. I didn't. I mean, when I listened to some of the people at the dining room, you know, they went to all these different places, and I think, you know, I didn't do a lot of that, but what I did, I was happy with, and so.
You and Grandpa used to love to dance.
Yes, we did. And he always used to say, "That's how you'd meet the girls. You can dance," and that's true. Yeah, we did. We did love to dance. I remember we used to go over to Catalina, you know, to that big ballroom. We'd go over there and get on the boat, the ship, or the little boat, and go over across and go dancing over there. Yeah, we did. And he was a good dancer, and I was too. So.
Where did you learn to dance?
You know, I really don't know. It just kind of came about. It was, I guess it was, you know, I don't know how you can say that you learned to dance. I mean, we just did, and I don't know. I guess it just was in my bones or something. Is it just was there?
There's like a Czech prevalence in your background.
Oh, okay.
Can you talk a little bit?
My parents came from Europe, and for some reason or another, they never talked a lot about their young life. Anyhow, my dad came from Hungary, my mother came from Czechoslovakia, and they had family here that they had to have somebody that, what's the word that I want to use, that they would, that
sponsor them?
sponsor them, thank you. And so they had relatives that sponsored them, and they met after they came here. They didn't know each other before. They met over here and married, and my dad apparently did quite well, because I remember the home that, well, we had the first house that we lived in. Then they built a larger home, a brick. I remember, you know, in those days, building, they had the basement, the attic, you know, and the 2 stories. And they owned a little bit of property. So when we got together a few years ago with the family, my sisters kind of remembered a little bit more, and they said my mother was the one that had the what's the word that I want to use, that the instinct, or to buy and to purchase, and they owned the home that we lived in, and then they owned some other property. So they did, you know, well. We didn't have a lot, but we had a nice home. We were always, you know, well dressed, and we did a lot of things together. And as we grew up, we did things, because there were 8 of us, so there was always someone around it. I remember we played a lot of cards, you know, and back east, that was a thing, especially in the wintertime.
What were your parents like? How do you remember them?
My mother was the strict one. My dad was more the easier one, to, you know, was not the disciplinarian as my mother was. But, and there was just something more well, not that my mother wasn't gentle, but my dad was more lenient, more gentle than what my mother was, the one that was the strict one. And I always got along with my brothers and sisters. I mean, the twins are still here. My sister Rose passed away last year. So there's only the twins and myself now that are left. And and I really don't keep in touch with them the way I should, and they don't keep in touch with me, but occasionally, especially around the holidays, we'll call.
What language did you speak in the house?
I couldn't do it now, but we spoke Czech, and that was the one thing that I today say if I were the way my parents were, I wouldn't speak the language but that was different that many years ago, but I wouldn't be able to speak any of it now, but I understood it and spoke a little bit. And
Is that where the kiffle tradition started?
oh yeah. And I don't think I'll see those anymore. Those days are gone. So I think your mom said something the other day about making them. I don't even know that I would remember how to do them. Maybe there might be maybe you could get on your little pad or something and find out if there's a store somewhere in.
To get the lekvar?
Yeah, well, no, to actually buy the kiffles themselves, you know, if there was.
I don't think they'd be as good as the ones we
Oh
made,
no, they
though.
wouldn't be, no, but they were good.
Which siblings were you closest with?
You know, let's see, there were 2 years between the twins and myself, and then 2 years between myself and Rose, and then 4. So I would say it would be my sister Rose, because there was only 2 years where the others were older. And and you know, I really think at that time, I think we were just all thrown together all the time. That I can't really say that, you know, I spent a lot of time with this one or with that one. It was just all just togetherness, and everybody just doing things together. And I'm sure I did things, you know, with one or the other, but right offhand I can't think of who it would be. It would have been with my sister Rose, because there was only that much, you know, there was not that much difference in our ages. And I don't know, I really can't say what we did for amusement excuse me, growing up, because we didn't have the things that we have now. First of all, we didn't even have the TV. You know, we didn't have that. And we didn't have the games and all the things that the young people have now.
What were your favorite qualities or attributes of Grandpa?
Oh, well, I think it was just, there was something about Bill that he wasn't gruff, but he wasn't timid. There was just, I don't know, I don't know how to express it. There was just a very easy person to be with, and I don't remember, I really can't say that I really remember Bill really raising his voice and being really angry about anything. I'm sure there must have been a time or two that, I mean, he had to have gotten angry with me sometime or another. I mean, that's got to be. And I think Bill was very understanding, and he was compassionate. We had a lot of friends, and he was just a good person. Is the best way that I can. We had a lot of good years. We had a lot of good times. We had our differences, which, I mean, is just only natural. But all in all, we didn't have any big differences. So
I remember him being funny. He had kind of like a wicked sense
he
of
had
humor.
he had a good sense of humor. He did, and I don't think there was really a mean bone in his body. And he was, to me, Bill was just a good person, and I think in this day and age, a lot of times I think, in fact, I think I have said, if Bill were living in this day and age, he would, there would be a lot of things that he would not be happy with. But I think that's with all of us, so I can't just say it was just, would be just him.
96 years of experience. What do you think are kind of the most important qualities in people?
I think tolerance, to me, and even in this day and age, I still think that being tolerant of other people, their views, and whether they agree or disagree, and like at the dining room, we'll sit around, and a lot of times somebody will say something, and in my mind, I don't think that doesn't mean that I'm right, but my opinion is that that's not right, but yet I don't say, because they're entitled to that. And I don't know, I can't say that we disagreed a lot with different people. I don't know, we seem to get along pretty well with, we are friends. We had friends over many years, and I think our life was pretty simple in comparison maybe to a lot of other people. We traveled, but we didn't travel like a lot of people did. I think we were just more down to earth and more everyday. We didn't have big things going on all the time, or I don't know. Our life was, all I can say, it was pretty simple.
Happy with what you had?
We were happy. We weren't always looking for more and more. And so I don't know. I mean, we had a good life. We had the family, and when I think, we had the two girls, and you guys, and then the other little ones coming along. So it's just a nice progression there that I can think back, and it was a good life. I really can't say that I wish I had done. I'm sure there are things in my life that I wish that I had done, but there wasn't anything so big that I could say, I wish I had done things differently, that things would have been a little different. And I always think there must have been a reason. The good Lord up above sent me from Pennsylvania to California. I met Bill, and I always say it was meant to be, because why else would it happen? So, but whatever it is, I'm happy with it. Here I am, 96, still living by myself, independent. Although there are some days when I awaken and I say, Helen, I don't know. I don't want to get out of bed today. I just want to stay put. But my mornings are the hardest time of the day for me. Once the evening, like playing cards, going to dinner, or going to the movies, and I mean not out, but doing things here. Then I'm out and about and moving around. But my mornings are my hard time of the day to get going. But I'm just grateful for the family, and I would say this: your mom is a special person. She really is. I mean, she does things and is considerate and thoughtful, and there's just something about Sharon is like a daughter, but she's also a friend. the way I with her. I mean, I feel like I can talk to your mom about, and I will. And sometimes I'll say, think one way, and then I talk to her, and then I look at something, differently, because it's just her outlook on things are just. She's just a special person, and your dad has been very good to me. He's does a lot of things for me, that takes care of things, and so all in all, I've been blessed. I really have been, and I'm thankful and grateful, and for you too, and for everybody, and for everything. So.
Grandma, what did you love about being a mom and a grandma and now great grandma?
Well, there's something, it's hard to explain, Aaron. I think it's just seeing how everybody develops, and like the little ones now. I mean, when I see Ellie, on ice skates, or I see her dancing around, or doing things. I mean, it's hard to explain. It's just you know that they're part of you, you're part of them, and it's just a joy to see how you two have developed, and the little ones coming along, and it's just when you hear some of the stories that some parents go through. And I watch a lot of TV, more than what I should, because that's, in the afternoon or sitting around here, and I listen to some of these people and I think, what a terrible thing to have to be going through. So I really don't know any of that, because I've never, and I'm thankful that I've never had to experience it, but there are some people that their lives are not easy and not good, and so I am just grateful for everything that I have, and I can't express that strongly enough, but I'm thankful for what the life Bill and I had together, what we did, and the children, the grandchildren, I mean, it's just been it's been a long time, but it's been a good time. So I don't know. Everybody should be blessed the way I've been blessed. So.
For us, the grandkids and great grandkids and all this, and when we watch this in 30 years, is there anything that you'd want specifically great grandkids, but also us to hear or to know? Or?
Well, I think if you can just be kind to and be tolerant, I think tolerance to me, and have it, allowing other people to have their views if they're not yours, and I think tolerant, to me right now, the way the world is if we can just, if I try to be tolerant of other people, and I think that, if you two can be that way with your friends and your families and your children, and allow everybody to have their own viewpoint. Doesn't necessarily agree with yours, but that doesn't mean that they're wrong and that you're right. I mean, I don't feel I'm, just because my view doesn't mean that I'm right or somebody else is wrong. And I think living in a place like this, because you meet so many different types of people, and I think if you can just, there again, tolerance, just be more understanding and allow them to think and feel the way they do, and just to be able to get along with other people is a big part of living and having a good life, and not always being in an upheaval or an uproar about things. And I don't know.
What would you say are your best qualities?
My best qualities? I don't know that there are any, Erin.
I beg to differ.
I really don't know what they would be. You would know. I mean, I think as you get older, you think differently too, and you act differently. I mean, when I look back, say when I was your ages, I probably wasn't as tolerant of people as I am now. And I think as you grow older, you experience different things and you become more tolerant of things and people. I don't get as upset about things as I used to. I guess that's about the way, it doesn't bother me as much as what things used to. Although I'm sure if I said this to your mom, she would say, well, I can remember when. And but all in all, I don't know. I just and I think as I think your thoughts and your ideas have to change. My ideas and my thoughts are different now than what they were 10, 15, 20 years ago. So I don't think you can go through your whole phase of life and say that you think and you feel the same way all the time. I say in prayer, I'm grateful and thankful for what I have and my health and where I am and my family and all of you. So if everybody is as blessed as I am, there'd be a good world around.
If we could bottle up your genes, we'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Kevin and I used to call you the eternal optimist. I think that's one of your qualities.
Yeah.
No,
You were always positive growing up. Or with us.
Well, I hope so, and that's a good. I appreciate that thought, and I'm gonna keep that one in my mind.
You saved my life, remember, in the pool?
Oh, I do remember that. Yes, and I'm very. Listen, there, as long ago as that was, there are still times that I say, "Thank you, dear Lord, that I was there." And yeah.
You want to tell the story?
Oh, this sweet little girl was going around in a Hot Wheel around the pool, going around and around. And I remember I was in the kitchen, and I was right by the patio door. I don't know whether I was on the phone or what, oh my God, you ended up in the pool. And I went in with my clothes, my shoes, everything, just jumped in. And I remember yelling, because I got you, but I was trying to hold her up, and I remember, help, help, help. And the neighbor, I remember finally she put her head over the fence, and I said, we're okay, we're okay. Yeah, I still think about that, Erin, I really do, because, I could have been going to the potty, or I could have been, doing something, but I was, and that was a good lesson too, also, to just never be far away. So, yeah, I think about that many times because, yeah, that was a good time, a good day.
Is there anyone in your life that you've truly looked up to?
Well, I think my mom and my dad, I did. As I said, my mom was a disciplinarian. My dad was more easygoing, but there was something about him that I remember, because it was, I don't know what the word is, that I just think that there was a kindness or something about him that I remember. Not that my mother, I mean, but she was more of the, as I said, the disciplinarian.
Or is there something that comes to mind, kind of the naughtiest thing you've done that people don't know about?
Jared,
You know, when
have-
you get to be my age, Kevin, there are a lot of things that happen and that I did and that I said that I shouldn't have. But at 96, I say, forget it, Helen. Don't even think about that.
Good, as you should.
Good advice, David.
Who, or is there someone that stands out as your best friend throughout life?
Yeah, in fact, there was a picture of her, Ronnie Solano. We grew up together, but anyhow, yeah, and I think of her often, and she's passed away a long time. But she was, we went to school together, and we grew up together, and I think of her quite often.
Mm-hmm.
But there, over the years, I mean, I've met a lot of people, like when I was in the service, and I kept in touch with some of them, but then over the years, you kind of lose contact. I always think people are so fortunate that have been friends for 30, 40 years or whatever, and they still keep in touch with each other, and I think that's great. And I have over, but then as years go by, you move away, you lose contact, and so, I mean, we had good friends in Palm Springs that we did a lot of things together with and kept in touch with them. But then over the years, you just kind of lose touch, I guess. I don't know.
There were a lot of pictures of Baba and, was it
Barbara Bugay,
Yeah. And Rolly.
Barbara and Rolly, and Peg and Doug Spencer. Yeah, there were Barbara and Rolly, Peg and Doug, Bill and I, and Margot and Ken. There were 4 couples that we, did a lot together. But there again, well, I think out of the whole group, I'm the only one that's left, and so.
I had a question about Mom.
There's something about your mom that I don't know. It's hard to explain, but she and I we talk and just, it's like not like mother and daughter. It's more like friends and talk about everything, and I listen to a lot of, because I may say something about something that happens here or something that's going on, and then your mom has a different outlook about it, and so then I look at it differently too. So, yeah.
You've given her, I mean, in us, a lot of reason to seek that engagement and keep in touch and be around, and it's the love that
well,
you show her family.
it's easy to be that way with her too. There's no, it's not anything that I go, God, I've got to talk to Sharon, and what are we going to talk about? Because it's just,
Or is there anything we missed that you want?
Oh yes, and I'm not going to tell you.
The answer to that naughtiest thing you've ever done question is still sitting in there.
All you need is the good stuff,
That's
Erin.
right.
All you need is the good
That
stuff.
is the good stuff sometimes.
Yeah.
One more question,
Yes.
if you don't mind.
I'll have to think about it.
One of the things growing up to this day, but also when Grandpa was here, is that I've always noticed like a consistent sense of humor. And
His sense of humor?
And yours. Just kind of curious on how important that is.
Oh, I think it's very important. I think a sense of humor and tolerance are 2 major things, and there were a lot of laughs in the family.
He used to have zingers, like little zingers, like the one I was telling somebody the other day about how he said like I was waiting for someone and he was 5 minutes late, and I got there 25 minutes early, so I reckon that asshole made me wait 30 minutes. He had his little like,
Yeah. I can remember there. I don't know why when you said this, something about when we were driving and you'd come to a stoplight and that light stayed red. It's time to change, asshole.
I remember we were, this wasn't too long ago, someone fumbled something, dropped something. Like a damn, I always say, it's like a damn bear cub playing with his booty.
Yeah, that was said many times. Those are good memories, Kevin and Aaron. Those are, yeah, remember those, yeah. Yeah, he said that many times. Oh, yeah. See, those were things that we laughed at now, and you say, you know, what did you, but the things that were said and done that you don't, you know, yeah, I remember that being said many a time. Yeah. I just hope that I was kind to everyone. I really can't remember being mean to any of you or to your mom or your dad or to that. I think kindness and just and understanding would be about the only thing that I can think of is I mean, I certainly didn't have any great words of wisdom to leave, so this asshole is one. Don't you put that on there.
the bloopers reel.
But I don't know. I think if people can, if my family or my friends can remember me as being able to say something nice about me rather than remembering me in a derogatory way, that's all that I could ask for, and
that won't be an issue.
Yeah.
but now the gal Millie that sits next to me at the dining room, she now she's in over at the lodge, and they bring her over every night, you know, in the wheelchair. But she's always been sat next to me for a long time. And there's just this sounds probably very stupid, but she's usually always there before I am, and she has one of these things, you know, that you have at the dentist that, you know, you
like
clip your napkin.
Uh-huh.
And when I come in, she's gotten the one side in, but the second side she has trouble, and when I come in, and I just automatically take it from her and clip it. And she, you know, it's just simple little, stupid little things like that you do for someone else that, you know, it sounds probably not very meaningful, but to her, she's still trying to get that one clip on, and I just automatically just take it from her and do it for her, or sometimes even both of them. But just little things that you can do for someone else, I don't know. And I'm not saying I was always this way, but I think as you get older, you look at things differently, and you think a different way than what you did before. But I just, if I can be helpful to someone, help them that here that can use some help, and I can still do it, then I try to do it. And other than that, I don't know.
Well, that probably above all else is how we think of you, in doing it with a smile.
Mm-hmm.
That, without question, is what I think of. You know?
Well, That's a good thought, and just keep remembering it, Kevin.
I
Don't
always
change
am.
it. Did I do a good job?
You
You
did
nailed
a
it.
great job.
Nailed it.
Great job.
You're built for this.
And your two little ones they're growing up so fast, and when I saw that little Ellie and those ice skates, I couldn't believe it. 'Cause I can remember, I was good at roller skating because that's easy to do, but ice skating was something that I never really could say that I could, go around the rink with any great. But to see that little fart sitting with those, tell you,